Start, sir.
Good afternoon, students of semester 3 and 4. Today is April 18, 2020, and I am going to deal with the topic religion, its role and significance in the kite runner. Well, before we discuss this topic, I need to tell you something about Khaled Hosseini, the kite runner, and Afghanistan. Now we all know that Khaled Hosseini is a Muslim writer. Afghanistan is a predominantly Muslim country. And the kite runner tells us the story of a few individuals who are predominantly Muslim. Now, why am I stressing these apparent truisms? We all know about these things. Then why am I stressing this? I am stressing these facts for two reasons. One, to highlight or foreground the theocentric nature of the society and the culture of Afghanistan. And number two, in order to point out that in some ways it is the cultural aspect of Islam that rules the roost in the pre-1989 world of Afghanistan, whereas it is predominantly the fundamentalist manifestation of Islam that gains ascendancy in the post-Soviet era in Afghanistan. This is a fact that we must remember in order to make sense of the role and significance of religion in the kite runner. You see, Afghanistan tells us the tale of many religions. There was a Buddhist past. Long before that, there was a Hindu past as well. But this particular novel predominantly tells us about the Islamic present of Afghanistan. And since almost all the important actants in this novel are Muslims, then obviously the tension that we talk about is not interreligious or intercommunal, it is intra-religious, intracommunal or sectarian, whereby the Shia-Sunni divide between the predominantly Pashtuns and the marginalized predominant Pashtuns and the marginalized Hazaras has got much to do with the way the plot evolves. When the story begins, not necessarily when the plot begins. You see, Amir's father is basically a secular Muslim. He is a practicing Muslim, but basically he is a secular, liberal Muslim who does not see eye to eye with the fundamentalist elements of the society. You will see that till 1970s, Afghan society was basically progressive and liberal, exposed to the other cultural influences from the predominantly Hindu India or the predominantly Christian West, and yet at the same time quite confident of keeping its own unique Islamic heritage intact. That is why in an improvised cellar, Amir's father could sip his choice whiskey, crunch the ice cubes, and say even disparaging things about the mullahs. You have to understand that even though Amir's father is quite dismissive of the mullahs, he is a practicing Muslim. And the Islamic observances, religious rites, and cultural customs are all faithfully observed in the household in which Amir grows up. This is very significant if we really want to differentiate the predominantly fundamentalist Afghan society of the post-Soviet era. First, in which the Mujahideen were tearing the social fabric asunder for their own personal greed and interest. But they were so busy in fighting among themselves that implementation of the Sharia was something that was pushed to the back burner. Ultimately, however, with the ascendancy of the Taliban, in the Taliban rule, it was the Sharia that ruled supreme in Afghanistan. The prescribed length of the beard, the thoughtfulness of the Kalashnikov toting Taliban officials, the utter disregard of women's rights, all these were done, unfortunately enough, in the name of Islam. And here, Khalid Hosseini shows his narrative as well as religious maturity when he points out that Islam is not all about observances and strict fundamentalist regime. That is why love for all, honesty in dealings, taking responsibility, all these tenets that have been highlighted and promoted by and in the Islamic scriptures have been pointed out up in the kite runners. We will see that ultimately, unlike 1,000 splendid suns, and even to some extent and the mountains he could, the tone and tenor of the kite runner is less religious and more individualistic. But Islam operates here both as a background for the human drama that Husseini provides us with, and also as a necessary and significant factor that not only holds together but also influences the movement of the plot and the maturation of the characters. I think this discussion will help you in understanding the role and significance of Islam in the kite runner. I have provided you with other materials, and you can ask me any question or tell me to clarify any doubt that may arise in your mind in this context. Thank you for now.